What's up everybody, welcome to day number 4 of the Build a Lifestyle Business Challenge, and today I'm going to talk about the 5 most common doubts and questions people have when they start their first online business. So let me start by pointing out that it's completely normal and natural that you're doubting yourself when you start your first online business. You don't know what is coming up, you have to learn a lot, and you have limited energy, limited time, and limited funds to do it. Maybe you don't have any friends and relatives who are business owners, so you don't have any examples, and there is so much misinformation out there about starting an online business. So maybe you have heard something that makes you question your plans. By doing this video, I would like to give you a proof that every question can be answered and every problem can be solved. So in the past 2 years, I've worked with more than 300 people on starting their first online business in various different fields, and we have managed to solve all these problems eventually. Obviously, I won't be able to fit all of the problems and all of the answers into just one video, so that's why I recommend you to join us in the Build a Lifestyle Business Challenge Facebook group. So let's get into it, the 5 most common doubts and questions that people have when they start their first online business, all of them answered. The first of them is what I call the big Chinese question, and this is something that many people face who sell physical products online. So I recommend you to source your products from China, from big sites like AliExpress and Alibaba, because those are super easy. And yet I always tell people that they should source products that have high quality, but they are non-branded items, so you can put your own margin on it, so you can build your own brand around it. And many people are afraid that their potential customers would just do a search on AliExpress and they would figure out that you are selling a Chinese product with a high markup, and obviously they would say bad things about you. Now I would like to tell you in a few points why you shouldn't be afraid of that. First of all, everybody does this, okay? So you're going to a shopping mall and you are going to see a lot of products that are produced in China and they are marked up by big companies. Nike and Under Armour, brands like these, they are not producing companies, okay? They don't have factories, they have subcontractors who have factories, and these brands mark up the products that they source from them, okay? Everybody does this and nobody is mad at them for doing this. The second point that you should consider about this problem is that it just doesn't really happen, okay? So everybody is afraid of it, but in the past 2 years we've had so few incidents like this on hundreds and hundreds of businesses that it's not even worth talking about it, okay? People don't figure out that you sell Chinese products because they don't have an internal catalog in their heads with all the hundreds of millions of products that are sold online, and it is not normal for them to check it on AliExpress immediately. It just doesn't happen. Everybody is afraid of it, but it just doesn't happen. The third point that you should consider about this problem is that there are currently tens of thousands of businesses that sell Chinese products online successfully. Okay, so this doesn't prevent them from becoming successful. This absolutely shouldn't prevent you from starting and becoming successful. But if you are still not convinced, you should absolutely choose to private label your products. And all of the product ideas that I recommend are great for that. That's why I recommend them, okay? So what you can do is order these products from China and either repackage it in your own country. It is really cheap to do. I mean, you can put your own logo on it, you can put your own brand on it, and this is not an AliExpress product anymore. You have your own brand. Or you can choose to order higher quantities from China, and then they can do it for you. So the factory does it for you. So again, the big Chinese question is that what if people find out that I sell cheap products at a high price? And the answer is usually they don't figure it out, okay? And the other part of the answer is that you should absolutely build your own brand. All of the product ideas that I recommend are great for this. The second question is, what if I go bankrupt? Starting a business is really risky, that's what I've heard, it's really dangerous. What if I go into debt, lose all my money, and I'm going to be indebted for decades? And first of all, I always recommend people to start something very cheap and very simple. So if you go into debt, that's a huge problem. You have made a huge mistake already, okay? You shouldn't put money into the business unless you know that you are going to turn a profit. So that means that you should absolutely test your offers first. And I think people believe this because there is this often quoted statistic that 95% of businesses fail in the first few years. Now, this absolutely doesn't mean that 95% of people who start a business go bankrupt and lose all their money and their home and they're indebted for years, okay? This is not what happens. Usually they just go back to work, or they start a different business because they don't feel that their efforts are justified in this business. The second one is that this is exactly why you don't start a complicated and expensive business. This is why I keep telling people that you should start an online business that is very cheap, that is very simple, and that enables you to test your offers before you put any money into the business. So remember what I've told you on day number 2. First of all, you should learn valuable skills like online marketing and online business building by creating a project site like an easy e-commerce business. Then sell those skills on the marketplace. You're going to get money for it, which you can put into the business. And this way you're not risking anything, but you learn valuable skills and start to build income producing assets. The third question is actually super cute. It is related to my business ideas. And I get a lot of questions like, Adam, I've read your business ideas. Those are awesome, by the way, but I just don't see myself selling phone cases for the rest of my life. How about this other business idea that I have, that I'm passionate about, and I can absolutely see myself doing it for the rest of my life? And usually people mention something that is completely different than the business ideas that I recommend you to do. But this is really important, and it's absolutely worth repeating that your first business is not your last business, but your first business should be based on a proven market need, okay? You have to start to make money with it. You have to be able to look at it as an income source for the rest of your life, and it has to be something that enables you to learn everything about building online businesses. If you do this, you are set for life, and you can start your second one, your third one, and success always happens in phases. So you shouldn't try to jump to your dream business, because you are going to just give up eventually and you are going to be left with nothing, which is not a good thing, okay? Success happens in phases. Start your first simple income producing business now, and you are going to be able to start your dream business in a few years when you have the funds, when you have the skills, when you have the knowledge, and when you have the experience. The fourth question is about customs and taxes. And a lot of people don't know anything about this simply because they haven't made any Google searches. They have heard that starting a business is expensive, taxes are high, so they never get to the point where they make a few targeted searches. If they did, they would find out that starting a business is actually usually way simpler and way cheaper than you believed previously. So usually there are these tax advantages for small business owners. You don't have to pay value-added tax, for example, until a certain threshold, and that threshold is actually pretty high, so you can make a very nice living on that money. And customs, it is way cheaper than people believe. It's usually, there are different brackets, but the maximum, I think, is around 2% of the original price of the product that you are sourcing. And we always want to sell products that have very high profit margins, so that 2%, that is not really a problem, okay? So we can pay for it in order to get into business. We should absolutely do so. And also, many people believe that you don't get an invoice from a Chinese seller. Basically, people think that China is the black market or something, for example. You absolutely can get an invoice from a Chinese seller. You just have to ask for it, okay? The European Union is a huge market. 500 million people live here, so Chinese sellers are prepared to give you an invoice if you ask for it. So this whole customs and taxation thing, this can be figured out pretty easily if you know what you are doing. Eventually it is going to be a process in your business that is automated. I understand that this could be overwhelming if you have to do everything at the same time. You have to learn a lot about running Facebook ads and building your sites and the legalities at the same time. This could get overwhelming really easily. That's why I recommend people to get help, ask for help. You should absolutely do it. So the taxation and the legalities of starting a business is different in every country, so it's impossible to give general advice about that. But you should absolutely make a few searches, because there's a good chance that you get tax advantages as a small business owner or as a sole proprietor. This is a huge trend right now in the EU. Governments are trying to make it easier to get started in business, so you should get informed about this. And the fifth question, the fifth doubt, is very actual. It makes a lot of people afraid of starting a business. It is the beast, the GDPR regulation, which is the new privacy regulation policy of the EU. And basically, nobody knows how it would work. Okay, everybody knows that the fines are huge, but nobody knows how this would be enforced. And there are so many experts out there, lawyers and privacy experts, who are trying to spread these false rumors about everybody getting fined unless you get their service. We don't live in a police state, okay? So there is no black tower with these agents and SWAT commando and people like that who are trying to monitor your privacy policy and check all the different cookies you have on your site. And if you just make a small mistake, they are going to bankrupt you with fines. So this is not going to happen. So again, nobody knows how this regulation would be enforced on small businesses, because there are hundreds of thousands of them, so they don't have the resources to do so. so, and you don't handle any sensitive information anyways, so nobody gives a damn if you have the shipping address of a customer. This is not private information. This regulation is geared towards big companies who handle very sensitive information like credit card information, for example, or health background or something like that. But anyways, we need to meet all the legal requirements, so obviously we need to meet them. And that's why I've invested a lot of time and effort and money into building these ready-made solutions for my clients, which is basically a ready-made template that you can put into your business, a process that you can put into your business, and then you are GDPR compliant. You don't have to understand everything, you have to use a template, you have to fill in the blanks, and then you are GDPR compliant and you can go on with your business. So again, you don't have to be afraid of the GDPR. This is not the end of the online business. You just have to put a process, a template into your business, and you are GDPR compliant. Okay, so these were 5 common doubts and questions about starting your first online business, and obviously this is just a small portion of the potential questions, but I could only fit so much answers into one video. We could go on and on for a long time, and actually this is exactly what I recommend to do. Join us in the Build a Lifestyle Business Challenge Facebook group if you haven't already done so, and make sure to ask your questions. I'm going to answer them. Tomorrow we are going to continue our journey toward having an online business and the freedom that it provides, so don't go really far. I'm going to be back tomorrow. All the best until then, and see you tomorrow.